The original beauty of Minecraft comes with virtually endless exploration and everlasting adventure. However, over the years, with the creativity of mod development, the game has evolved beyond its early vanilla experience. Now that players have access to these modifications, anything is possible in this realm, such as this. A world of Pokemon. That's right, this is what we call PIXELMON. It's every kid's dream. Minecraft, but it has every feature of the Pokemon games. In this video, I will be spending 100 days in this PIXELMON mod. I have 3 objectives, and since I've been playing this mod for years, I decided to make them extremely challenging and debatably impossible. First and foremost, I want to complete the entire Generation 1 Pokedex. That means I must catch all of the original 151 Pokemon, including Pikachu, Charizard, Mewtwo, and of course, my personal favorite, Snorlax. However, due to time constraints of the 100 days, this challenge will not be attainable without some help. Which is why I am choosing to go on this 100 days journey on a fantastic Minecraft server called PokeSmash. I'll be able to recruit players on the server to help me catch all 151 Pokemon. Together, this challenge might be possible. My second objective is to defeat a dungeon. These PIXELMON dungeons are fierce, but if defeated, they reap legendary rewards. The first dungeon is an ice dungeon, meaning most of the enemies will be of that type. If I can build a strong team to counter ice, I should be able to conquer the dungeon and overcome this challenge. And lastly, my third objective is to capture at least 5 legendaries in the War Zone. The War Zone is a unique feature the server offers that has a very high legendary spawn rate. To enter the War Zone, however, your entire team of Pokemon must be level 100. Although that might sound very appealing, this area is incredibly risky. If a player battles you in there, the winner of said battle gets to steal a Pokemon from the other player. So my plan is to train up terrible Pokemon up to level 100 and log on to the server when no one else is online, so probably at like 3 a.m. This way, even if I do get battled, I'm not even gonna care if I lose. But if I don't get battled, then I have a really good chance of catching legendary Pokemon. If my plan prevails, I'll be catching legendaries as easily as Caterpies. But that is a lot easier said than done. Wish me luck. If you guys want to join me on this adventure, be sure to go ahead and join the Zekrom server on the PokeSmash network. The IP will be linked in the description. Although this video does capture a ton of amazing features that the server offers, there's still plenty more that I didn't even touch on, such as 8 gyms, custom tournaments a few times a month with unique formats, Dex Quest, which is an event that happens every single Wednesday at 5 p.m., where all players on the server collaborate to catch a customly made Pokedex. If the server does manage to catch that Pokedex, an epic reward is given to everybody that was involved. Also, every Friday there are boss raids where people on the server cooperate to defeat one super Pokemon. There's also insanely cool textured Pokemon like this Galaxy Xerneas, and there's much, much more. Okay, and lastly, before we finally get into this epic adventure, I'd just like to ask that you guys please scroll down and hit that like and subscribe button. This video literally took me hundreds of hours to make, and only a fraction of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. We are so close to 400,000 subscribers, so please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for the support, but now it is time to sit back, relax, and enjoy this amazing journey of 100 days in PIXELMON. Alright, so day number 1. I decided to join the Zekrom server because it had the lowest population, which made me think that dominating the war zone would probably be easiest on this server. After I joined, I ran up to Professor Oak to collect my very first starter Pokemon. And even though one of my objectives was to catch all of the Generation 1 Pokemon, I decided to start with Scorbunny, who is Generation 8. This is because I actually have a super secret special creator skin with its final evolution Cinderace. You'll see what I'm talking about later on in this video. Anyway, after obtaining the Scorbunny, I decided to explore Spawn and I found a ton of Pokestops. Pokestops are pretty much loot crates that refresh every single day. And I quickly found out how broken and OP these things were. After about only 3 minutes of collecting items, I was able to spam XP candies on my Scorbunny and evolve him on the very first day. But as I was doing my rounds at Spawn, I actually noticed in chat that there was a random Pokemon tournament starting soon. In these tournaments, the server will give you 6 completely random Pokemon to battle with. It's completely free to enter, but if you win, you actually get a pretty good crate key. So if I could win this tournament, it would be one of the best first days ever. But unfortunately, my entire team was terrible and they all died instantly. Anyway, after getting my feet wet on the server, it was time to start grinding. The first thing I wanted to do was accomplish my first objective of catching the original 151 Pokemon. I wanted to get this objective out of the way because I was honestly more excited for objective number 2 and especially objective number 3. So anyway, like I said in the beginning of the video, in order to complete the Pokédex, I would need to recruit as many players on the server as I could to help me out. So I decided to stream on YouTube for a couple of hours and get people online to send me any Generation 1 Pokemon that they could catch. Hey guys, am I live? I don't even know if I'm live. And as that was happening, I was also trying to catch as many Pokemon as I could so I could expedite the process. On my exploration though, literally one of the most unfortunate things ever happened to me. A legendary Zacian spawned right in front of me and I didn't even notice. But in chat, it said that the Zacian spawned next to someone named Gyro, so I TP'd to Gyro without realizing that the Zacian actually spawned on me. My entire chat was freaking out because they saw that the Zacian was in front of me and then I left it. But I didn't believe them. I thought that my chat was trolling me. If you guys are lying to me, like, grow up. I'm not even, like, grow up. I'm not even kidding. Like, nah. But eventually, one of the viewers actually DM'd me on Discord a screenshot of the Zacian from my stream. Oh my God, someone actually did it. Someone actually did it. Oh man, I was so upset. Wait. Someone sent me a screenshot of it. My gosh, who is that? So handsome. What? Sorry. Anyway. But look, there's the Zacian. But look! But look! A legendary Zacian has spawned in a forest biome. Fine, that's fine. Gyro is near it! No, he wasn't! I was near it! And then my stream, like, started to lag, and somehow this happened. Alright. Whoa! Whoa! Dude! Whoa, bro! What was that? Who did? Whoa! 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 Bro, what was that, dude? What the heck? So, I just lagged. Did you guys lag? Guys, if anyone out there streams and experiences like weird lags in their stream like this, please DM me how to fix it because I can't have this happening anymore. Thank you! Anyway, back to catching Pokemon. So after a couple of hours of streaming, as a community, we actually ended up making really good progress. I had over 4 boxes full of Pokemon, and we were only 20 days into our adventure. After making all that progress in my Pokedex, I decided that it was time to start my own town. If you guys want to join me, just do /warp-Sirid and it will take you close to my house. The build that I went for was quite unique. I never really liked to build regular houses, and this one was obviously Pokeball themed, but when I was building it, I didn't really have any sort of structure in mind. And so it kind of ended up looking like a mini Coliseum Pokemon ball thing, I don't really know. But anyway, I didn't really like the way that it turned out. So later on in the series, I actually end up changing up the house quite a bit. But I didn't really show you guys too much of that because this video is supposed to be about PIXELMON. So let's get back to PIXELMON. Just kidding. I actually spent the next couple of days still working on my house. I built this little basement. I put boulders on the outside and just did a little bit of touch-ups here and there. But also, my favorite part is this. A mailbox where you guys can send me mail and give me items and things. You just drop it in the mailbox. It's actually called Siren Smelly Mailbox. So be sure to come and give it a sniff. But be careful, because apparently if you step on one of those movement pads, you get stuck forever, and you cannot get out unless you TP out or you break the block. But you guys can't break the block, so you would just be stuck there forever. So, note to self, don't ever step on the movement block again. Whew, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I really have to relax. I gotta take a breather here because that just got me really worked up, honestly. And I was yelling too much. I apologize. But anyway, after building my house for so freaking long, I decided that it was time to start raid nest hunting. And so I gathered a few guys on the server and we set out together on a mission to take out tier 4 and 5 raid dens. Now, if you guys don't know what raid dens are, they are similar to the plugin on the server for raid bosses, but these raid dens spawn randomly around the map, and if you find ones that are tier 4 and 5, they drop incredible loot. But pretty much you team up with a team of 4 players to battle one super Gigantamax Pokemon. So here we are actually battling a Jellicent, and we end up actually killing it fairly easily. But after about an hour of grinding these dens, I found this. A tier 5 Ditto raid den. At first, I wasn't too intimidated until I saw that one of my teammates brought a Mewtwo. And if you guys didn't know, Ditto's only move is transform, and that transforms it into any Pokemon that it's battling. And so the stupid Ditto transformed into a Gigantamaxed Mewtwo. But luckily, we also had a level 100 Zacian on the team. And so after a long, hard-fought battle, we ended up finally taking out this insane Pokemon. And finally, after I got home, I decided that it was time to spend a ton of those XP candies on my Cinderace. Oh yeah, and speaking of the Cinderace, I mentioned this earlier, but check out how awesome he looks. This is the custom creator skin that was made just for me. I like to call him Cyradace, but he's pretty much a Super Saiyan Cinderace, and I think it's freaking epic. If you guys want one of these, be sure to go ahead and join the Discord because we do giveaways of these Cinderaces every couple of weeks or so. Well, anyway, I end up spamming these candies on him until he gets all the way up to level 64. After I leveled up Cyradace, something amazing happened. I opened up my village to the public, and so the floodgates were open. But this was the start of a new era. The era of Cyrudville. I'd like you guys to put your hands together to welcome the very first settlers ever in Cyrudville. Shrimpy, Tahulu, Branda Boogie, Logie. That one kid, bad ideas. And then we have this guy, a tiny hyperspace who apparently doesn't know how to get in line. But anyway, this is one of the most prestigious villes of them all. Any citizen that resides in Cyrudville is instantly top of the food chain. This village started with nothing, but in just a few weeks, will certainly become grand. Okay, this is getting cringe. Let's get back to playing PIXELMON, guys. You know what I'm saying? Alright, here we go. Back to PIXELMON. Next, I wanted to get my Cyradace to be the strongest that it could possibly be. And so I sold all of my items that I got from raid den hunting, and I bought him a completely new moveset. Then I wanted to get him to level 100, but the XP candies that we got from the raid dens were no longer effective since he was such a high level now. And so to level him up, I needed to get rare candies. And the best way I knew to get rare candies was to open up vote crate keys. In order to get these keys, all you have to do is vote for the server by typing typing in /vote. You can get up to 5 vote crate keys every single day. And so I opened up all 5 of my keys, and on the very last one, I got an aura crate key. Auras are aesthetic effects that you can apply to Pokemon that makes them look really, really cool. And so I was hoping that I could get a really cool effect that I could apply to Cyrodiil just to make him look even cooler than he already does, but I actually ended up getting something 10 times better. I got the rarest item that the crate had to offer. A random legendary Pokemon and a legendary aura. I could not believe it. There were so many legendaries in the game that I didn't even know what to hope for. At the time, I wanted an Arceus, a Giratina, or a Darkrai, but what I got was even better. I got a Rayquaza. This is debatably the best Pokemon in the entire game. And so I celebrated for quite some time, but after I was done fangirling, I added the legendary aura effect to the Rayquaza, and boom! Look at this beast. Tell me with a straight face that this is not one of the coolest Pokemon that you have ever seen. And if you thought today was already going well, it only gets better. For some reason, I decided to check the GTS, which stands for Global Trade System. I think that's what it stands for. Well, anyway, the GTS is pretty much a marketplace where anyone on the server can sell Pokemon. And what I saw on the GTS was astonishing. I saw a Solgaleo that was selling for $20,000 and a Genesect that was selling for just $12,000. Now, this was my first time buying anything from the GTS, but this seemed insanely cheap, and so I just bought both of them. The guy that sold them to me was named Callum. That's, something that you should keep in mind for later on in the video. For purposes I won't say now. Well, anyway, my team was really coming together now. And to cap off this epic day, I entered a random tournament that the server was hosting, similar to the one earlier in this video. This one went a tiny bit better because I did win my first battle, but then in the second round, well, let's just not talk about the second round. But losing that tournament did not bring my morale down. In fact, that day as a whole really inspired me to step up my game and push forward to finally complete my very first objective. If you guys remember, my first objective for this 100 days is to complete the Generation 1 Pokédex. And honestly, at this point, I myself have probably only caught like a total of 50 Pokemon. But as you can see, as I scroll through my Pokédex, we're almost done, dude. Without your guys' help on the server, I would be in nowhere near completion. I only needed 2 Pokemon left. For some reason, it was a Pinsir, which I thought was a pretty common Pokemon, but the last one was a Snorlax. It was meant to be, because Snorlax is like one of my favorite Pokemon. And so I set out on an adventure to catch those last 2 Pokemon. Luckily, the Pinsir didn't take too long to catch. It only took like a day or 2, but the Snorlax was a different story. It turns out it's really easy to find Pokemon in general, but then it becomes very challenging when you're trying to find a very specific singular Pokemon. And so for the next couple of days, I had 0 human interaction. I just set up camp on the top of a tree, and after burning one too many marshmallows, it finally happened. I found the beast. I spotted a Snorlax down in a valley underneath me and pounced. And it didn't take too long until he was mine. And that moment right there was the moment that I completed the first objective of the series. I wasted no time pursuing my next objective. Defeating the ice dungeon is no easy feat. In order to do so, I would need a fully trained team of level 100s, and so for the next few days, all I did was train my Pokemon. After days of hard work, it was complete. My 4 main Pokemon were now all at level 100, but I still had 2 slots left to fill my party. And although I had a ton of great Pokemon in my PC, I felt bad using the ones that I didn't capture myself. So after rummaging around a bit, I thought it would be a great idea to select Snorlax in my 5th slot. Partly because he's actually pretty good, but also partly for the memes. And so I trained up Snorlax level 100, but then again, I was faced with the decision to select another Pokemon to join the team. This one was a bit challenging and took me a while to finally decide who I was going to go with. But after I thought long and hard, I decided to go with Cloyster. I thought it was a really good fit for the team because he was water and ice, but it seemed like the PIXELMON gods were watching me and cringed at this decision because as soon as I picked him to be in my team, the game spawned a legendary Virizion. And so I teleported to the player that he spawned on, even though that is pretty frowned upon, and I found it shortly after. I used one of my Master Balls to capture it, and just like that, my team's fate was sealed.
It's over 9,000!
All I had to do at this point was train the Virizion to level 100, and I would be ready to challenge the Ice Dungeon. All right, boys, and it is time to grab your swords and shields because we are going in. I've never challenged one of these dungeons before, but rumor has it they aren't for the kind-hearted. These ancient chambers are known to be ruthless, so I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty nervous. The way dungeons work is that they are split into a certain amount of rooms. The Ice Dungeon, being the easiest of the 3 on the server, is only 5 rooms. Each room has a certain number of Pokemon in them that the player has to eliminate in order to advance to the next room. There is also no healing allowed, but after every couple of rooms, you are greeted with a lovely nurse who was kind enough to heal your mons for free. So I really didn't want to make any mistakes because I knew that one slip up could cost me the entire dungeon run. So before battling each Pokemon, I would /P wiki them, which allowed me to check what type was super effective against it. And since my Cinderace has such great type coverage, I was actually able to breeze past the first room without any trouble. The second room was certainly more intimidating as I was greeted by a giant Articuno. Luckily though, Cinderace was still very healthy and well, so this room was still a pretty clean sweep. He one-shot a Tangrowth, a Blissey, a Cloyster, a Lapras, and even the Articuno. This dude's a beast! Then I got healed by the nurse and moved on to the third room that Qrem was guarding. Solgaleo tried his best to take it out, but was unable to. Rayquaza was there to clean him up with an extreme speed. Keep in mind, I can't revive my Solgaleo until I get to the next healing room. And I literally just came from one. Not a good start. Cinderace and Genesect were able to take care of the rest of the room, but 2 Azumarill did chip away quite a bit at the health of Cinderace going into the 4th room. My team was already wounded going into the hardest room yet. I was greeted by a nasty Lugia, Celesteela, and Dragapult. Honestly, I didn't think we stood a chance. But then, I gave myself and my team a pre-battle pep talk that got everyone juiced up. This is what it sounded like. Please, guys, please kill them before they kill us all. And actually, that seemed to work because we took down the Lugia and then Cinderace one-shot the Celesteela and Snorlax one-shot the Dragapult. The rest of the room was still quite challenging. In fact, we only had 2 Pokemon left by the end, but that's okay because we did it and it was obviously thanks to my pre-battle speech. Luckily, before going into the final room, we were able to heal up our Pokemon one last time. And now, fresh as ever, the gang was ready to rumble. But this was by far the hardest challenge yet. Although there were only 5 Pokemon in this room, each one was incredibly strong. There was a Zacian, a Glastrier, a Qrem White, a Qrem Black, and a Xerneas. Before engaging in battle, I researched each Pokemon extensively to ensure that I was making the right plays. And just like every other Pokemon Cinderace glanced at, he one-shot the Zacian. A great start to the final room. But then I tried to close combat the Glastrier with my Virizion, but that didn't really go as planned, and my Virizion died. No need to worry though, because the love of my life was there to pick me up. Cinderace finished the job with the signature Pyro Bomb. 2 down, 3 to go. The Qrems were a bit tricky, so I decided to Sunsteel Strike with Solgaleo, hoping it would OHKO, but it didn't. We did manage to kill the first one though and do a ton of damage to the second. Unfortunately, that was when Solgaleo fainted. But once again, Rayquaza comes in and extreme speeds to finish the job. So, as we approach the final Pokemon of the entire dungeon, Xerneas, we still have 3 Pokemon alive. Cinderace, Rayquaza, and Genesect. But come on, we all know how this is gonna go. Cinderace, do your thing, G. And bang! Just like that, we defeated the Ice Dungeon. Mostly thanks to Cinderace. Objective 2, complete. I opened up a Mystic Crate key I got from defeating the Ice Dungeon, and received an IV boost that I put into Snorlax's attack stats. At this point, I didn't really have anything else to do other than to attempt the ultimate challenge, to survive and flourish in the Warzone. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, so only about 8 players were online, and 2 of which were at spawn, so I knew that the Warzone was not going to be heavily contested, but still, I was shaking. If I lost any Pokemon, I would be distraught. Each of them had a very special place in my heart, and so my intentions of entering the Warzone were not to battle, but actually to stay away from enemies and just catch legendary Pokemon. And so I did it. I ran the command /Warzone and entered the Warzone. Even though I've seen this Warzone countdown a couple of times before, it still gave me the chills. And shortly after entering, I saw Callum. That's the guy that I bought the Solgaleo and Genesect from. He was running around all over the place in the Warzone, so I thought he was going to be aggressive, but actually he ended up being quite friendly. That is until a freaking Mewtwo spawned and he caught it. This got me really upset because Mewtwo is very powerful and I wanted him, but still I didn't have the courage to battle him because I didn't want to risk losing any of my Pokemon. And then a couple of minutes later, a Groudon spawned right next to me, but for some reason I couldn't engage it in battle. That stupid Callum stole it from me. This had me fed up. I was not going to take being bullied in the Warzone any longer. I took a deep breath and went on the offensive. Callum was not getting away with stealing my legendary Pokemon. So to start off the fight, he leads with a Galvantula and I lead with my Cinderace. I like starting with my Cinderace because it has U-turn, so if I ever have a bad matchup, I can just U-turn out of there. But whenever anyone leads with a Galvantula, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna have a Focus Sash and set up a Sticky Webs. Okay, let's pause the fight here. For anyone who is not into competitive Pokemon, these next couple minutes might be a little bit confusing to you guys because this is a highly competitive fight. Keep in mind, guys, whoever wins in this battle gets to steal a Pokemon from the opposing player. This is not a friendly battle. If I lose, I can literally have my Rayquaza stolen from my team. So it's about to get really serious. All right, back to the fight. So the very first turn, his Galvantula Thunder Waves my Cyradace, paralyzing me. Now that I'm paralyzed, the Galvantula is faster, so he Sticky Webs on the second turn, and Cyradace is paralyzed and can't move. On the third turn, he Thunders, and again, my Cyradace is paralyzed and cannot move. And then on the fourth turn, he finishes off Cyradace with a Thunder. Not a good start. But it's okay, because I switch into Rayquaza, who E-speeds and kills the Galvantula. He goes into Weavile, who is 4 times effective against my Rayquaza, so of course I have to switch. I go into my Genesect, who does eat a lot of damage, but then I Extreme Speed with the Genesect to one-hit KO the Weavile. He then goes into Mega Swampert, so I hard counter that by going into my Virizion. Then he switches again into his hidden ability, Rocky Helmet Ferrothorn. Since I used Leaf Blade against the Swampert, it actually landed against the Ferrothorn, which did absolutely nothing, and in fact did a lot of recoil damage to me. So my Virizion ends up dying, and then I switch into my Rayquaza. I try a V-Create against his Ferrothorn, but he protects. And since he protected the first turn, I'm expecting that he's gonna switch on the second turn, so I use Earthquake, and my prediction was correct, and he switched into a Swampert. So even though I did a decent bit to the Swampert, I still have to switch out because I cannot afford to have my Rayquaza die. So I switch into my Snorlax, who actually does surprisingly well to tank some hits against the Swampert and also set up some Curses. Curse is a move that lowers your own speed, but it increases your attack and defense. For some reason, he switched into Ferrothorn, so it kind of just let me set up a couple more curses, but eventually he switches into Conkeldurr, who pretty much hard counters Snorlax. After eating 1 Mach Punch from the Conkeldurr, I decide to hard switch into Rayquaza, expecting another Mach Punch to come, which is exactly what happened. Then, of course, Rayquaza one-shots his Conkeldurr. He then goes back into Swampert, which is the exact same matchup from before, where I'm pretty much forced to switch. So at this point, I had to decide to either let Snorlax or my Genesect die, and I decided to let Snorlax die because Genesect had E-speed on it, which I thought could come in handy later down the line. So after Snorlax dies, I switch into my Solgaleo and Photon Geyser. I thought it would kill, but it didn't. But it's okay because on the second turn, it did. He then switches into Ferrothorn, so I hard switch into Genesect and Shadow Claw, but unfortunately, I still do go down. So now I'm left with 2 Pokemon, my Solgaleo and my Rayquaza. He also only has 2 Pokemon left, a Ferrothorn and a Pokemon I have not seen yet. I decide to switch into my Rayquaza because I have V-Create. But if you guys remember, we had this exact same matchup earlier in this fight, the Rayquaza against the Ferrothorn. And on the first turn of that matchup, he used Protect on his Ferrothorn. So I predicted that he's gonna do the exact same thing. This time around, I decided to Dragon Dance on the first turn. And just like predicted, he protected. Dragon Dance is a move that will increase your attack and speed. So on the next turn, I decide to V-Create and I one-shot the Ferrothorn. Now we're down to his last Pokemon, a Kartana. Kartana is one of the hardest hitting Pokemon in the entire game. I thought for sure I was dead meat. But somehow, Rayquaza survived a hit and then one-shot it with a V-Create. And that was that! My first ever Warzone battle. I won. And since I won, that means that I got to steal a Pokemon from him. So I decided to steal his Kartana. I swapped out Virizion for the Kartana, and now my team was looking stacked. Then everything started to snowball effect. Everything that could have gone well, did. And Callum knew that since I'd beat him in the Warzone, it probably wasn't the best idea for him to challenge me. And so I had the Warzone all to myself. I'm counting the legendary that I stole from Callum as one of the 5 legendaries that I wanted to capture in the Warzone, which means that I only had 4 to go. And shortly after that battle, a Hoopa spawned next to me. Since I had 5 Master Balls, it was no problem catching it. 3 to go. And then for the first time since being in the Warzone, I actually found somebody other than Callum. It was my village mate, Brandon Boogie. And although we are friendly in the overworld, the Warzone is a different beast. No one is safe, and I could not let anyone steal any legendary spawns from me. And so I did what any other reasonable trainer would do, and I initiated a battle. At first, I was sweating uncontrollably, but I soon realized that he was using a throw team, and so I beat him with ease. However, in the middle of our battle, a freaking circuitry spawned. So I rushed through the fight, and after I defeated Brandon Boogie, I stole his Dragapult and then caught the circuitry. Only 2 legendaries left. And honestly, guys, the rest of my Warzone experience was not that eventful. All I did was watch Naruto on my left monitor while sitting in peace in the Warzone. I knew that nobody was going to challenge me, so I really had nothing to worry about. It was only a matter of time before the legendary spawned, and that is exactly what happened. About 45 minutes later, a Darkrai spawned, and I captured it, of course, and then a Victini spawned, and so I Master Balled that as well. I wish that there was a more dramatic finish to my last objective, but that's literally what happened. And so that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how I completed my 3rd objective of this 100 days. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this adventure. I really enjoyed logging this journey and creating this video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps me out and will let me know if you guys want to see another video just like this. Also, I hope to see you guys join the village on the server. Let's make Cyberdville the best to ever do it.